But many of those relationships have to be rebuilt today in a political context.
They have been there already. The same people, no one has talked about Jinnah or Pakistan, except again and again to say, क्यों लिखते हो फिर से, क्यों जाने क्या हो जाए फिर से. मैंने कहा ठीक है, हो जाए तो हो जाए.
But do you find it difficult to rebuild that sense of trust that you once had in them?
It is there. Had it not been there, this kind of acceptance of my leadership for the coming Lok Sabha election would not have been there.
In that time period where you were feeling sad, you were feeling misunderstood in a sense by people who had once been close to you, by your own party, was there a sense of saying enough is enough?
Yes, yes. That was there. And in fact, even when I started writing this book, somewhere at the back of my mind was that I had hoped that it would be over much before November 2007 when I complete 80 maybe. I make an announcement.
You mean turning 80 was some sort of landmark for you
Yes,
for retiring from politics?
Yes, that's right.
Why is that?
Because after all, I had achieved a lot in public life, achieved a lot in politics, and what I have written in the book, when I completed it, it gave me a great sense of fulfillment. I did say to some friends that one should retire when he is in good health, and I am, thanks to my family.
But you didn't retire. You went on to become the Prime Ministerial candidate for the NDA.
Because when they in a way cast aside all the earlier misunderstanding and accepted me and passed a resolution to have me lead the party in the coming Lok Sabha elections, I felt, I may even mention that it was at that point once again that I felt, now what's the need? Now is the right time to call it a day.
To step down?
Yes. Because I feel satisfied. But then I felt that maybe at this point of time, if I were to do anything of that kind, it would hurt the party.
Now, strangely, of all the controversies that could have erupted from this book, they have not centered around Pakistan, they have not centered around Jinnah, they have not even centered around Hindutva. They have come to center around something that is not in the book, which is Kandahar and what happened then. Now, you suggested in an earlier interview that you did not know that Jaswant Singh was going to take that flight. Later, some of your colleagues, George Fernandes has gone on record to say, no, Mr. Advani was in the know. Many commentators are furiously debating this amongst themselves. Some believe it's sensible for LK Advani, known to be a hardliner on terrorism, to distance himself from this. Others are saying, how could the Home Minister not have known? Would you like to set the record straight on this immense confusion over what happened in December?
Firstly, as you yourself have said, that this is not in the book.
It's not in the book.
And yet if it has come up, why has it come up? Had my name not been declared by my party as the NDA's Prime Ministerial candidate, there would have been no controversy on this. So that all the controversies that have arisen have nothing to do with the issues that have been raised. They are more related to
the politics
trying to show that Advani is not truthful. Advani is lying. Someone said he's a liar. He said that. And or the more important thing that comes out from the book or even the interviews following to the book, they are ignored and some side issue is taken.
So why don't you set the record straight on what happened?
Let me say that in that meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security, the focus was on, should we release these prisoners who are being asked for? They were in Jammu and Kashmir, most of them. And of course, the first demand was very large, so one by one, all these things were cut off. Ultimately, cognizance was taken of the fact that an all-party meeting convened by government, in which To the best of my recollection, Dr. Manmohan Singh also was there as leader of the opposition of the Rajya Sabha. The unanimous view was, or the consensus view was, that how you deal with this issue of hijacking, whether you release these prisoners or not, is your lookout. You decide. But from our side, our advice to the government is that the security and safety of the 166 passengers on board should be the primary concern, first concern. And with this primary concern before us, I think that the government had no option but to let off those people. And therefore, I cannot distance myself from that being part of the government. I may, my inclinations may have been different at that time also. And if there had been a policy announced by the government before this hijacking took place, that under no circumstances will the government will compromise in such situations, and whatever happens, then it would have been a different thing. But here, no such policy had been announced, and we had to face demonstrations day in and day out of the relations of them. We did not have a situation like that in the United States, where the affected people and their families would go and place a candle somewhere just to show that they are concerned about it. So it was a difficult situation in which the right thing was done by the government. There is no question of my distancing myself from them. I was part of it. Though this much is true, that formally this was not discussed whether the foreign minister should go along with them or not. I inquired about it later on. Later on means these days.
After this controversy erupted.
After this controversy arose. And Jaswant Singh told me that the IB officials and the external affairs officials who were going there to negotiate with the hijackers, they said that someone senior also should go, and he volunteered.
So it wasn't discussed at the CCS.
But it was, I would say that this also had the endorsement of Cabinet Committee on Security. I cannot.
So for those who say LK Advani is trying to distance himself from it, it's not true.
It's not
It's not true.